Okay, hello everybody. My name is Dan, and this is my serial practicing English. I get trouble with my throat because I feel hurt inside. I will, I don't know. Take, I will took an third fascinate pizza, so I feel ill. I will, I, I've been ill these days. I feel ungood, uncomfortable, and I become to cough so much. Just sit like this, and today I did something that I don't like at school. Many words have no name, and I really hate it because I think I don't receive much about it in the future. So why I have to do this? And it make me a lot of stress. Okay. Let's go with practicing English every day. And today I decided to read chapter 4. Previous, I read an old gentleman have three children and their mother give the food and give them things, necessary things for her mother. And now we're gonna read chapter 4, Bobby's Ride. About 2 weeks later, the old gentleman saw another white sheet with black letters when he looked out of the train. It said, "She is nearly well, thank you." Then it was time for the children to tell mother what they had done. It was not easy, but they had to do it. And the mother was very angry indeed. "Now listen. It's true what we're poor," she told them, "but we must not tell everyone, and you must never ask strangers to give you things. We didn't mean to be We didn't mean to be bad, Mother," cried Bobby. "We're sorry," said Phyllis and Pete, crying too. Soon, Mother was crying with them. "I'll write a letter to the old gentleman and thank him," she said. "You can give it to the station master to give him. Now, we won't say anything more about it." The day after, the children took the letter to the station. It was Bobby's birthday. In the afternoon, she was politely told to go out until tea time. "You mustn't see what you're doing," said Felix. "It's a surprise." Bobby went into the garden, and then she walked across the fields. When she came back, Phillips and Pete met her at the back door. They were very clean and tidy, and Phillips were wearing her prettiest dress. There was just enough time for Bobby to make herself tidy before they called her into the front room. Mother, Pete, and Felix were standing near the table, and there were 12 light candles on it, one for each of Bobby's years. The table was covered with beautiful flowers from the fields and garden, and there were some interesting little boxes too. "Happy birthday, Bobby," they shouted happily. "Open your present." They were very nice presents. There was a pretty handkerchief with flowers on it from Felix, a lovely little silver brooch of Mother's, sharp like crows, which Bobby's had loved for years. There were 2 blue glass vases from Miss Viney, and there were 3 birthday cards with pretty pictures. "This is my present," said Pete, putting his toy steam engine on the table. It was full of sweets. Bobby looked surprised because just for the moment she thought Pete was giving her The engine, not the engine, he said quickly, only the squeaks. But he had seen a look on her face. I mean, not on the engines. You, you can have half if you like, he said bravely. Thank you, Pete, said Poppy. It's a wonderful present, and she thought it was very kind of Pete to give me half of his engines. Well, I have broken half. I'll get it mended. It was a lovely birthday, but later that night, Bobby came silently down to the stairs to get her present. She saw her mother was sitting at the table with a pen and some writing paper in front of her. She writing to father, thought Bobby. But at that moment, mother wasn't writing. Her head was on her arms, and her arms lay on the table. It's my birthday, and she doesn't want me to know. She's unhappy, thought Bobby. Well, I won't know. And she went quietly back to her room, but it was sad end to the birthday. The next day, Bobby put Peter's engine in a box and took it down to the railway. She did not go to the station, but she went along to the line to the place where the engine stopped. When the next train came in, Bobby went across the line and stood beside the engine. She had never been close to one before, and it was very big. The driver and the fireman did not see her. They were talking about Porter, who was on the other side of the line. Excuse me, began Bobby. But the man did not hear her because the engines were making a lot of steam and noise. Bobby climbed onto the step of the engine, but at that moment the train began to move. Bobby fell inside onto the heap of coal. Help, she cried, but still the man didn't see or hear him. I shouldn't be here, she thought. As the train went faster, I'll be terrible trouble. She put a hand and touched the nearest arm, and the driver turned round quickly. What are you doing here? He shouted, and Bobby began to cry. This seemed to worry the two men, and it took several minutes to calm Bobby down and stop her crying. Then the fireman said, Now tell us why you're here. It's not every day a little girl falls into the steam engine. Bobby picked up the box with Pete's toy engine inside. I want to ask if you could mend it, she explained, and took the engine out of the box. Everybody on the railway seemed so good and kind. I didn't think you mind. The driver took the little engines, and the two men looked at it silently, not speaking for several minutes. Bobby waited. What do you think, Jim? Said the driver at last. Can we help the little lady? The fireman smiled. I should think we can't. Oh, thank you, said Bobby. But now we must make sure that you get home safely, said the driver. Bobby stayed on the train until it reached Stackpole Junction. She asked the two men all about driving a steam train, and they showed her automatic brake and the little clock faces that told them how much steam the engine was making. It was all very interesting. At Stackpole Junction, the two railwaymen put her on another train and sent her home. Bobby was back in time for tea. Where have you been? Asked the others. To the station, of course, said Poppy, but she would not say another word. It was some weeks before Bobby took her brother and sister to meet her friendly engine driver and fireman. The two children were very surprised, and Pete was very excited when he saw his engine, now as good as new again. And only then, as the three children walked home again, did Bobby tell the others about her adventures on the engine of the steam train. Okay, chapter 5. Yes, okay. Can you see me clearly? Chapter 5, Saving the Train. One day the children were walking by the fence along the top of the hill beside the railway line. The line here ran through a deep little valley, and the hillside on the both sides of the line was very rocky, but among the rocks, grass and the flowers grew, and many small trees. Philip stood by the fence and looked down to the lines at the bottom. It's like looking down the side of the mountains, she said. Suddenly they heard a noise. It was soft but very clear, and slowly began to get louder. Look at the tree over there, cried Pete. The girls looked and saw the tree moving slowly downwards on the opposite side of the railway line. It's magic, said Phyllis. I knew the railway was magic. Look, some olive trees are moving too. They watched as the tree moves on and on, grass and stones moving with them. Then big rock began to move as well, and suddenly half the hillside was moving. Second or two later, everything came crashing down in the big heaps on the railway below. It's right across the line, said Phillips, feeling a little frightened now. Yes, said Pete slowly. And the 12 and 11:29 hasn't gone by yet. We must let them know at the station, or there will be awful accident. There isn't time, said Poppy. It's past 11 now. They thought for the moment. We need some red. Then we could go down on the line and wave it, said Pete. Everyone knows that red means danger and the train would stop. Our petticoats, said Phyllis. They red. Let's take them off. The girls did it. Then the three of them ran along the line to a corner. When they were round the corner, it was impossible to see the heap of trees and rocks. We'll need some sticks as well, said Pete, taking one of the petticoats now. He took a knife from his pocket. You're not going to cut them, are you? said Phyllis. Yes, cut them, said Poppy. If we can't stop the train, there will be a real accident and people will be killed. They cut the petticoats into 6 pieces and put them onto sticks. Now we have 6 red flags. Next, they pushed 2 of flags into heaps of stone between the lines. Then Bobby and Phyllis each took one, and Pete took the other 2. They stood ready to wave them immediately the train appeared. It seemed a long time before the railway lines began to shake, and they hear the train coming. Wave our flags, ordered Pete. But don't stand on the line, Bobby. The train came very, very fast. The lines began to shake, and 2 flags were pushed into heaps of stones, fell over, but Bobby ran across and picked up one of them. The train's not going to stop, they shouted. They won't see it. It's no good. She ran on the line, waving her 2 flags. Get back, Bobby, shouted Pete. But Bobby did not move from the line. She waved and waved her flags, shouting, "Stop, stop," as big black engines came towards her. It did stop, but only 12 meters from Bobby. Pete and Phillips ran along the ride to tell the driver about the trees and rocks around the corner, but Bobby couldn't move because her legs were shaking too much. She had to sit down on the ground, but they had saved the train. You, you brave and clever children, the driver told them. Some weeks later, a letter arrived at a little white house on the hills. It was for Pete, Bobby, and Phyllis, and it said, "Dear Sir and Ladies, we would like to say thank you for saving the train and stopping a very bad accident. Please come to the station at 3 o'clock on the 30th of the month if it is a suitable day. J. Inglewood, Secretary, the Northern and Southern Railway Company." It was to be a very special day indeed. The three children went down to the station at the right time, dressed in their best clothes, and the station master came to meet them. "Come into the waiting room," he said. He took them into the room where people usually waited for the trains, but now there were carpet on the floor and flowers about the pictures on the walls. The porter was there, and several men in high hats and long coats. There was ladies in expensive dresses, and the people who had been on the train on red train on red petticoat day. Best of all, the old gentleman was there. He came across the old gentlemen were there, and he came across to shake their hands. Then everybody sat down on chairs, and an important-looking man go up to speak. He said nice things, but about the children, how brave and clever they were. And then he sat down. Next, the old gentleman got up and said more nice things about them. Then he called them across and gave each of them beautiful gold watch. "These are from the Northern and Southern Railway Company," he said, "to say thank you for your brave and sensible things that you did to save the train. It was a wonderful day, a day that seemed more like a dream than real life." Afterwards, the old gentleman walked with them to the little white town. "I want to meet the mother of these clever children," he said. Mother was surprised to see their visitors, but she thanked him again for the things he had sent when she wailed. Then they talked about Red Petticoat Day, and the children showed Mother their watches and told her about the people at the station. "I've been very pleased to meet you," Mother said to the old gentleman when it was time for him to leave. "I'm sorry we can't ask you to come and see that again, but we live very quietly." The children thought this was very strange. They had made a friend, a very good friend, and they dearly wanted him to come and see them again. What did the old gentleman think? They didn't know. He looked closely at Mother and said, "I thank you, madam, welcoming me to your house today." But Bobby was watching her mother's face As the old gentleman walked away, it was sad, tired face. She's thinking about father, thought Bobby. Chapter 6. A birthday for Perks. A birthday for Perks. Okay, it was break time and mother was smiling. I've saw another story, darlings, she said. We can have cakes for tea. The three children looked at each other. Then Poppy said, can we have the cakes? Can we have the cakes on Thursday instead today? It's Perk's birthday on Thursday. How do you know? Asked mother. I showed him my brooch, the one you gave me for my birthday, and asked him about his birthday. He said he doesn't keep birthdays anymore because he had the other things to keep, his wife and children. But he said it was on the 15th, and that's Thursday. And we thought we could make birthday tea for him, said Pete. He's been very good to us. All right, said mother, but cakes didn't seem a very exciting birthday present. We can give him flowers, said Bobby, and we were discussed, and when they were discussing it in the garden later that day. When Pete had an idea, Perks is nice to everybody, he said. There must be lots of people in the village who will want to have us give him a nice birthday. Let's ask everybody. Bobby wasn't sure. Mother said we weren't to ask people for things. Not for ourselves, said Pete. It's all right to ask for other people. I'll ask the old gentleman too. So they went to the village. Some people were kind and some were not. It's my birthday tomorrow, said Mr. Ransom at the post office. Nobody will remember mine. Why should I give anything to Perks? Go away. But other people gave things: a pint, a tie of tea, a tin of teas, a walking stick, and other promised to give small present too. Early the next morning, Bobby and Phyllis went into the garden and cut some roses. They put them into a box with one Bobby's prettiest handkerchiefs. They were wrote on a piece of paper for Mr. Ransom for her birthday, with our love, and put it inside the box. Bobby and Phyllis took the box down to the post office, and put it inside the door when the old woman wasn't looking. While they were gone, Pete told his mother about Perk's present. We're not doing it because he's poor, said Pete, but because we like him. I hope he understands that, said mother. On Thursday morning, the children went to fetch the present which other people had promised: eggs, meat, tomatoes. The old lady at the post office was standing outside as they went by. I want to thank you for the roses, she said. We pleased you like them, said Phyllis. And here's your box, said Mr. Ransom, giving back to them. It was now full of shiny red apples. She smiled. The Perks children will like them. And I've got a brown in the back of the shop. It was my daughter's first child, but the child died after 6 months. I like Miss Perks to have it for her little boy. Will you take it? Thank you, said Bobby. We will. The children put on present on the pram, and at 3 o'clock they pushed it into Perk's little yellow house. Mr. Miss Perks and her young children were surprised to see them. "We know it's Mr. Perks' birthday," said Pete, "and we brought some present for him." The woman's eyes got bigger and bigger with surprise as each things were taken from the pram. the pram. Perks had never had a birthday like this, she said. The cake and the presents were put on the table. Then the children hid in the other room. When they heard Perks coming home from work, they wanted to surprise him by jumping out and saying happy birthday after he seen the present. "What's all this?" they heard him say. "What's the prom doing here?" his wife explained, but too quietly for the children to hear. But they heard Bert shout, "I'm not having any of it. We've managed all these years, asking people for nothing. I'm going to start taking things now. We may be poor, but we don't need charity." Poppy ran into the other room. "We thought you'd be pleased," she cried. "We didn't mean to do anything wrong," said Pete, follow her. "I'll never be kind to anyone again," said Phyllis, starting to cry. "Don't you understand?" said Perks. "People in the village will laugh at me. Poor Perks, he can't take care of his own family. We have to give him things. That's what they'll say now." "No," cried Bobby. "It's not charity. People were happy to give your birthday present. That man at the village shop said, 'Please to give something to Mr. Perks. He always pays his bills.' And the old man at the post office wanted you to have the prom. It was for her granddaughter, but the little girl died." "I'm not sending prom back, Bert." "Back?" said Mr. Burke when she heard this. "So don't ask me so." "I won't," said Perk quietly. "And the other people said you were kind and polite and hardworking," said Pop. "They wanted to give you a birthday present. The old gentleman gave Pete a pound for you, and he said you were a man who was good at his work. We thought you would like." "Stop," Perk said certainly. "I'll take back every word I say. I don't know if I was ever so pleased. Only with the present, but with the kind thoughts of our neighbors. They are best present of all, aren't they, Neil?" "Are they?" agreed his wife happily. Perks looked at the children. "You'll stay to tea, won't you?" he said. "Yes, please," they say. "Okay, this is a good, happy ending." And the children will please for the part, and they just think that everything he have is just charity, and he's scared about the people in the village laughed at his face because he couldn't take care of his family. That is totally wrong, because Bobby explained that they the people in the village feel Bert is a good person, is hardworking man, and they want to give Bert some present for his birthday. So it's a good, open-minded things, everything. Okay, I think it's the end for today's reading. Thank you for listening. Bye. Take care.